wonder what your hand has to tell you about this. If we listen to the feeling, does it change at all?
Yeah. Everything I need is already in me.
In the following interview, you will be meeting Hunter Jensen, a young man facing challenges every entrepreneur and small business owner can relate with. The weight of feeling stuck, knowing that there's something on the other side, and not sure how to get there. As this live hypnosis demonstration progresses with Hunter, you may begin to notice, deep down inside yourself, that the changes that occur inside Hunter can begin to affect your own perspective at home. Because while life and businesses vary wildly, at their core, there's consistent patterns that are found on the journey that we all go on of growth and understanding. And rather than explain how changes work, in this interview, you're simply going to watch the change happen with Hunter. And now, while I wouldn't suggest that his transformation might help you as well, you might be surprised to see how universal the experience of the unconscious mind truly is. So take a moment from the present to change your future now, as we sit back, relax, and enjoy this experience together. Welcome to the live session here, Hunter. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Let's let everyone know, who are we talking to and what's your story?
Yeah, my name is Hunter. I'm 22 years old. I currently live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am very passionate about healing. I like to heal myself and encourage others to heal themselves as well. I make orgonite, tensor technology, and pulsating electromagnetic field devices. And I really want to become profitable in these niches.
Wonderful. And what do you like to do for fun?
I like to ride a BMX and I snowboard. And I like to backpack and hike.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I live in Utah, so the mountains here are one of a kind, very unique place.
So it sounds like you've really got like an adventurous spirit going on there. And is this a company you work for, or is this a company you own, or a little bit of column A, a little column B?
Yeah, I'm a one-man team. I do everything by hand by myself. So
wonderful. And is there a name of this company that we should be Googling, going to Instagram for, or anything like that?
Yeah, I do have an Instagram. I haven't created a whole business thing for it yet, or like a website, but okay. My Instagram is technosis369.
What brings you here today? What am I helping you solve? What are we going to hopefully help you conquer some challenges and whatnot? You told me a little bit about it on our intake form, but just if you could tell us in your own words, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so I'm just experiencing some financial blockages at the moment. That's like my biggest hurdle. And so, like I have all these healing modalities and I just need to find the audience that needs what I have.
Wonderful. So maybe the next step is figuring out, when we say wealth block, where are we even trying to go? Let's say I wave a magic wand and we got the money that you want. You got it. It's coming in. What does that life start to look like?
Yeah. So I live in Salt Lake City, Utah currently. The first thing that I want to do with a big amount of wealth is I want to buy my mom a house. The second thing I would want to do, besides like taking care of everybody else around me, is I want to get a Mercedes Sprinter van, and I travel all over.
Wonderful. So going out, traveling, taking care of your family, taking care of your friends, and you have that kind of life. So let's say that we get all that. We've got the house for our mother. We're taking care of our friends. We've got the van. What does that do for you?
I would just say I'm living a dream.
You're just living the dream. And when you're just living the dream, how do you feel? What does that do for you?
I mean, for me, that would be like heaven on earth. There wouldn't be like a higher reality to live in. So,
and when you're on heaven on earth, what does that do for you? You see how blocked it is? There's a lot of walls that we've got set up that we haven't. It's abstraction, 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 but we don't know what's at the core. What is it that what's driving us there? What are we trying to get to?
Yeah, really what I envision is just harmony all over and bliss.
Okay. And when when we're talking about healing modalities, is there like, I broke my toe and you fix it, or a headache or a stress? Like what exactly, what would be the number one thing you see popping up that you're helping people with?
Yeah. So I make what are called toroidal vortex generators, and it looks like a little donut. It's made out of orgonite, which is a base of crystals and metals casted into resin,
Uh-huh.
and it harmonizes electromagnetic fields like 5G radiation. It has the potential to attract those energies into it and then transmute them into positive life force.
Okay. So like what kind of sickness would the person have, and then they use the device and then it goes away or it gets better or relieves stress or like, what is the actual transformation?
Right. So yesterday, for example, I was experimenting with the frequency 1150 hertz, 1150 hertz,
Mhm.
which Dr. Rife did experiments using this frequency to kill parasites. Yeah, he
Okay.
looked through a microscope and at parasites, and he played this frequency, and it would literally just zap them and kind of like incinerate them, kill them.
So is that like are you seeing that kind of come up a lot where like are we I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like in terms of the business model, we're trying to find, you know, obviously, you know, in marketing, we want to find the deepest pain that someone has that you can solve, so that you can solve that. Because, well, why, you know, if I can fix your achy toe, but I can fix your brain cancer, you know, extreme example, of course, but just giving an expression, why would I waste my time on your toe when I could focus on doing the thing that's clearly the deeper pain, right? And so that's how we kind of make sure that all our resources are funneled towards the thing that makes the most good in the world, kind of thing. So is there something that you see like popping up a lot where your system fixes that very specific thing, or are we running into a lot of people dealing with parasites? You know, maybe if we're like going to another country, I know that that's a pretty big problem. Is that where we're seeing the results, or what exactly are you hoping to sell this system to solve?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, the 1150 hertz, that's just one example of many. There's all sorts of different frequencies that do all sorts of different things. So, there's frequencies for regrowing your teeth. Um, I'm not like advising any medical advice on anybody, but
Yeah.
studies that have been done that some frequencies do help with cancer. There's frequencies for spinal health. Um, there's frequencies for helping you tune your brain to certain brainwave states like delta, theta, gamma, alpha.
So it sounds like there's a lot of solution. It's similar, you know, like hypnosis can help everything from you can literally give someone use hypnosis to help someone have surgery without pain medication, and there's all the way to like irritable bowel syndrome. So there's like a wide spectrum of what hypnosis can be used to do. All backed by peer reviewed science, of course. And check it out. Don't trust me. Go look at Harvard. Go look at Stanford. See what they have to say. And that's all on our website. But there's a wide range of things. What we got to figure out is we don't have to. What I would suggest is perhaps considering which one that lights you up, and then ideally one that you have easy access to that you could start solving. Because if you solve everything, they can't put you into a category, so they don't know what to go to you for. There's like he's the guy that does mind stuff. That's like with hypnosis. Whereas, oh, he makes your sleep go good. You got sleep problems, he fixes it. That's and then you give them a category. So is there a particular thing? And then what we want that category to like ideally be is one that you have easy access to and that people are willing to pay money for because it's a really big pain. And so those are the kind of the two factors there is like, do I have easy access to a group of people with that pain? And then solve that pain kind of thing. So like, for example, an ideal situation for me in the past is referral network with a pain clinic. They have the most pain. Literally, it's a clinic of people who are in pain, and not all of them want drug solutions, and so that's where kind of hypnosis helps in the psychological elements of pain relief, and so that just became an unending funnel of leads. That's kind of what we want to figure out for yourself in terms of that. Is there something that stands out as the focus that you want to fix for people?
I would say the main focus is harmonizing electromagnetic fields.
Okay.
At this day and age, everybody has a cell phone in their pocket. We're all surrounded by Wi-Fi routers, the electric vehicles, TVs, all these electrical appliances that are not emitting harmonious electromagnetic frequencies.
Well, then you wouldn't like our studio. Let me tell you, I am surrounded by screens, lights, cameras every inch, and they just keep getting closer and closer to me as I get older. It needs to stop. I got a screen sitting next to my foot right now. I'm not
That's
even
exactly
joking.
my point, you know.
So in terms of all this electrical interference, let's say here we're dealing with this situation, and I am the prime target. Obviously, I'm being blasted by all the electromagnetic things you can imagine. I got Wi-Fi going through me on 50 different directions. What I set up I set up the box or the device or the piece of art, the copper, all that good stuff. I turned it on. What does my life look like after I flip the switch? Do I feel different? Does something that is painful go away? What change do I feel or not instantly, or maybe it's over a period of time, but what is the transformation that this thing gets me?
Right. So our bodies are about 70% water. So we are superconductors for all this energy to come in. When you have a superconductor device, like a piece of orgonite next to you, it's going to be conducting all that energy for you and transmuting it so that your body doesn't have to. So
Okay.
with that in mind, you're going to be feeling increased relaxation, decreased stress response. You know, the list goes on and on. You're going to experience so many benefits from it.
Got it. Okay, so then that's where we want to dial in is I'm a business guy, I'm at my desk, and this thing is going to help me with exposure to radiation. So there's that long-term effect, which sadly people don't really respond well to long-term threats. That's why people go to hypnotists for quitting smoking, is because it doesn't work. You know, it's like, you're going to get cancer in 30 years. And I'm like, okay. But the immediate result is that the stress relief, so maybe like an angle of productivity increasing, like, hey, this can make you more effective, work longer hours, or work harder or more productive hours, by setting this up at your desk. Is that about right?
Yeah, for sure. Because in a sense, when you're transmuting all this energy coming through your body, it's like your body is spending a lot of energy digesting all of it and detoxing that. So with a piece of orgonite next to you, now your body's spending less energy detoxing all this energy, and you have more energy for whatever else you need to do.
Wonderful. And now, and I have no knowledge to back up whether any of this is science or whatnot at all, because obviously I'm not an expert in any of this kind of stuff. But what I could say is I know that for a fact is the placebo effect as a hypnotist is 100% real. That's a thing that totally works and is really effective. In fact, placebo effect's more effective than 50% of all over-the-counter medication. So even if this thing is purely placebo based, it's still going to 100% help people if they're bought into the experience. So knowing that that's the case, we can definitely carve out a market where you can really help people by helping them tap into that. And so with that being said, you know, that's kind of for the people who are like, oh, why would you ever talk about this? Because they're going to come in the chat. I promise you, they're going to be very angry. They're going to post studies about how orgonite is a Pokemon, and it's coming. Trust me. And so you go through that whole process. But the point being is if I go and say, this is the enchanted coin, it's magic and it sucks up negative vibrations when you put this crystal on it, and that helps you feel less stressed at night, great. Like, and you go to sleep now. It's the sleep stone. Congratulations, I've sold you the sleep stone, and it looks really cool on your nightstand. There you go. The sleep stone is engaged. So the point is the big suffering, no sleep, goes bye-bye. And that's a good thing. And so as long as the pain goes away, I don't really care what the mechanism is to solve it. And that is what your customer is thinking too. So the customer does not care if you're using copper pipes or if you're using steel pipes, if it's 2 inches or half an inch. They care that their sink can turn on and off again. And right now it's not turning on and off again. And so in that regard, that's what we want to kind of dial in on is what is their sink? What is the sink that they have that when they turn it on, no water? And they're like, I need this for doing dishes, cooking, cleaning, everything. Like my entire kitchen is useless now because the sink is broken. What is that for your client? And what's a group of people that you run into a lot where it's like, oh, you have that problem? Dude, just do this.
That's a good question. I need to think on that for a sec.
That's all right. That's what this is all about. And there's a feeling there, right? You can feel something, but you don't have words for it, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Your unconscious mind knows it, and we don't consciously know it yet. Where do you feel that feeling?
It's hard to pinpoint in all honesty. I feel it all over.
It's all over. Exactly. And I wonder if that has anything to teach us, right? We're trying to help everyone, aren't we? Well, if we take that feeling and let's try and get some more specificness to it, and we go to any moment but now into the past, and we find a memory where we helped someone in a way that made us feel like that. Does anything come to mind?
Yeah. So the first person to ever receive one of these toroidal vortex generators from me.
Yeah.
So I went to his house and I gave him a demonstration of what this device is and how it works, how it can affect him. And when I went back to him the next time with his device, because at the time when I gave him the demonstration, I just had one of my own. I just wanted to show him what it was about. Yeah. And then I wanted to build him a custom one. That's what I do for people is I add all these custom modalities that cater to the individual.
Yeah.
And so the first time I went over there, gave him the demonstration. And the second time I brought him his own toroidal vortex generator. And he was telling me about how when I first came over that day, when his wife came home later that day, she was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, you seem so different." And he's like, "There's absolutely nothing wrong with me right now. I'm on top of the world right now." Yeah. Yeah. He smokes a lot of weed.
Okay.
And he told me that he hadn't smoked weed at all that day, and he just felt like on top of the world, you know?
Interesting. So we go into this experience. We're here. Is it nighttime or is it day in this memory?
It was day.
It's daytime and his wife's there and you're talking to him. And this is after you've given him the device. And she's noticed a shift in his behavior. You've noticed a shift in his behavior. Now, in terms of the using pot, is he doing it less? Is he doing it more? Has he stopped using it after the device? Like what exactly, is there a correlation there? What's going on there?
Yeah, he was basically saying like, you know, that feeling that he wanted from the weed, he got from the toroidal vortex generator in like a more healthy way.
Wonderful. Okay, so that sounds like a pretty powerful effect right there, right? And now that's an experience that we have there. And now that's one example of it. Now, when we went and had that experience, when we came back, we're in the room, we're with the husband and wife. We've shown him the device. They're talking about the changes that he's experienced. How did you feel then?
I felt great. I mean, no better feeling in the world, honestly, knowing that I helped somebody like that.
And where do you feel that feeling?
My whole spirit.
Your whole spirit. That's wonderful. Is there anywhere inside your body that you feel it particularly strong?
Yeah, my heart.
Right in your heart? If you focus your attention on your heart there, what does it have to tell you about what you need to do to focus your business more so that you can have more experiences just like that? Does anything come to mind when you put your focus there? And take your time. This is all about you.
Yeah, I would say just yearning to make more people feel like that.
Yeah. And if we bring our attention to the heart and listen to it, do any stories, any symbols, any feelings come up?
Yeah, all I hear is just bliss and harmony.
Bliss and harmony. Wonderful. And if we take that feeling right there and we bring it all the way back to this moment again right now, and we look towards the future, where do you think we could find more of that feeling today? The easy way. What's the easy way that we could start feeling more of that right now and build it into the future? Not all the ways, but the easy, fun way. What do you think that would look like?
Well, I'm supposed to meet with a friend later today.
Yeah.
I'm going to introduce one of these devices to him. And so I can already foresee that it's going to invoke some of these feelings in him, and that'll be a catalyst for growth and change.
Wonderful. And that's a big deal, by the way, is the most effective form of marketing and persuasion comes from Aristotle, which is a demonstration. So it sounds like you've got a really effective model where you're going up and saying, hey, you got this problem? Here you go. Try it out. It's pretty hard to argue with the results, right? It's like you don't have to argue someone into drinking Jack Daniels. You figure it out real quick. You go, whoa, okay, this stuff works. All right, I like it. And so that's when you have a product that can do that, that's a big deal. And so when you're in that situation, you've got a good setup for it to work. You can demo it. And are you doing anything to monetize that? Or are you just letting them experience it and then selling? Or how does that process work?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you do with your hypnosis. You give the free 30-minute sessions.
Yeah.
What I'm essentially doing is I'm giving them like a free 15, 30, 45-minute session with the Tortal Vortex generator, experiencing these frequencies. And, for another example, a demonstration I gave to another friend, he told me that when I was playing this one frequency, he was feeling like all sorts of tingly stuff in his body, and he really enjoyed it. So
wonderful. So if we take a look back at the problem we set aside, that wealth block, has anything changed yet?
I mean, I have a more open mind as to where, how I can get more money in.
And which is interesting, because remember when we went back into the past, we discovered that we can actually feel harmony and bliss right now. Remember? When we helped someone else, you felt that way. So we don't actually have to get the van and the house or anything to start feeling that right now. We just need to start helping people. And I wonder what kind of ways there are to just help people right now. There's one way that you know of, but I wonder if there's other ways too. Easy ways, simple ways to just start doing that. And as a byproduct, we also get there too. We get all those visions for ourselves, all those plans that we have, those abstractions. But they're the output. Because the input is we want to do activities every day that make us feel that bliss, right? That way we're not just sitting around being like, well, I'm just going to be sad until I get here, right? We want to feel good today and then. And what's so cool is that you already know one way to do that, which is to help other people feel good. Do you think there's other ways you could do that? What's your mind doing right now? I can feel a lot of emotions shifting and changing. I think it's excitement and good, but it's interesting. What is all that? Is anything coming to mind?
Yeah. I'm just thinking of ways of how I can expand those feelings right now too, and solidify them to where, I don't have to seek externally every single day. I can just know that inside myself, I already am that.
And by the way, I know in a lot of New Age and in spiritual teachings, especially Eastern, there's a lot of teachings about how we need to be fulfilled from within and that we should be happy with ourselves. And psychologically speaking, that isn't inherently true. Different people are different ways. So like for Lexi, that totally makes sense. She has FI in her hero function. She gets fulfillment from within. That makes her feel good. But if you have FE, you get fulfilled by making other people feel good. And that's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different way of existing. And that's where it's really important. A lot of these teachings, especially in personal growth, you see a lot, is they give you a prescription and say, this is the way to be happy. But what they're leaving out is that's the way to be happy for that person's cognitive stack in that time, in that situation that he was in. There's a lot of caveats, and they just go and be like, well, just find your passion and stick to it for 25 years. Okay, well, that's great. If you're an SE, then that totally makes sense. That actually does work really well. If you have any, that will make you hate your life, and then you'll be depressed and you'll give up like 3 weeks in. So you gotta take the advice in with a grain of salt. There is, instead of, and this is where I think we take that Eastern paradigm and flip on it and say, instead of not, oh, I need to be the kind of person who's fulfilled by what's inside me. What if instead we become the person who loves who we are the way that we are? What do you think that might look like?
I never really thought about that. So,
but it feels interesting, doesn't it? Because now you're going anywhere but where you've been before. So we're thinking new thoughts, and that's a really cool place to be. because that's how we get growth. If we just keep thinking the thoughts we've thought, we always get to the places that we've been. But if you think new thoughts, then you are going to go somewhere by law where you haven't been, right?
Yeah.
In that place there, does an idea of a place where you can feel bliss come to mind?
Yeah, just right here.
Yeah. I wonder what your hand has to tell you about this. The one that's starting to tingle right now, that one. Do you think it has any information for you?
Yeah.
If we listen to the feeling, does it change at all? Does any thoughts or ideas come to mind?
Yeah, all I can really say is everything I need is already in me.
That's right. And now if we let that feeling in your hand start to connect with that place in your heart, and it might move physically or in your mind, but as it gets closer and closer, I wonder if by the time that it gets there, you'll have the insight that you need to know exactly what you need to do. And if we bring our attention back to that place in our heart where we felt that bliss, is anything new there?
Yeah, I would say I'm already on the right path, and
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything wrong. I couldn't make a mistake. Everything is divinely orchestrated.
And so if that hand and that heart are having a conversation, have they come into agreement yet? Or are they still talking?
Yeah, I think we're at peace.
They're at peace. Wonderful. Does any vision come to mind when you tap into that feeling there?
Yeah, I don't really have words, honestly.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine. But whatever you were just feeling right there, let's take that feeling and bring it back on that little challenge we set aside earlier. And if we take a look at that, how has it changed now?
Yeah, it's definitely where I would like it to be, more solidified and coherent.
Wonderful. So we've learned what we want to feel like is that feeling of bliss. And we know the way to do that is by helping other people feel good, right? And so if we bring that here to this moment, knowing that that's going to make us feel good, to help others feel good, and that by making them feel good, we're also going to get the wealth that we desire over in the future, right? So if we have those key principles in play, it seems to me like the more times we can make what happened then happen now into the future, the faster we get to our goal. And by getting there faster, you're going to feel better and better because you're just doing more and more good for the world, huh? Am I missing something, or are we literally just having that kind of conversation more times, right? I wonder how many times you could do it knowing that every one of them is going to make you feel good.
I would say I could do it for all eternity.
That's right. And if you just kept doing that at more and more volume, by sheer damn luck, somebody's going to buy the thing, right? If you're really making people's pain go away, if you're really solving their problems, even if you're the worst salesman in the world, someone's going to show up and be stoned out of their mind and be like, I'll buy 50 or whatever it is. There's someone's going to, that's the old law of numbers. All advertising works. It's just how effective it is. It's just, there's always someone, they're not always the most qualified leads. We get those with Facebook leads sometimes, but you always will get someone. So knowing that it's an inevitability, as long as we just do enough of it, how does that feel?
No better feeling in the world.
Wonderful. And here's the best part. Going and having really bad sales experience is how you get good at sales too. So the worst case scenario is that you have lots of these conversations, you make lots of people feel good, and you get better at the skill that's going to make you successful in the long run. It's a pretty good trade-off, huh? Now, it's important that when we go on that kind of adventure, we do want to make sure that we've got a good, solid foundation, a place to keep ourselves fed, have a roof over our head, and take care of our basic lives. That's where the life upgrade plan comes in, is make sure you put one of those together, because it doesn't matter what business you start. There's going to be a big amount of risk and a lot of failure in the beginning. That's how businesses start. That's basically, in a lot of ways, business is about data collection. And what's interesting is it's unique to the individual. What might not work for me might work for you, and vice versa. And it's very tailored to the person. That's the cognitive functions can help you out with that a lot. So with those things being said, we want to be able to afford to take risk. And so that's good to have a nice solid foundation. And what I'd recommend is finding a place where we could get paid to also be around the kind of people who might buy our product or service in the future, because then you get to learn the customer, right? So now you get paid to basically build relationships with your ideal target market. And if someone built a similar business, you get mentored by a guy who built a business from the inside out. Do you think having a foundation would make it easier for you to live your life more effectively? Or do you think you're already in a spot right now where that's doable?
I have somewhat of a foundation, but I plan on making a move here soon to Georgia. One of my friends, he runs a farmer's market out there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I want to set up a booth and just have all this technology for everybody to experience. And I foresee a lot of growth there.
If you had all the money in the world, where do you think the best place to be would be to showcase what you do? That would be the easiest, like the easiest sales.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I would say probably the internet,
And what is it about the internet that you think would make it the easiest place?
I can connect with someone in China. Like, for example, I had somebody from the Middle East reach out to me about a week or two ago asking for advice on how to make this technology. I had somebody from Switzerland reach out like a week or two ago asking the same thing. So
that makes sense. Yeah. Now, so we get a lot more. There's definitely a lot more potential, but that also comes with the trade-off. It's kind of like, is it going to be easier to sell at a baseball stadium or at, say, if you have, let's say you're trying to sell chameleons for whatever reason, right? You could go to a baseball stadium. There's a lot of people. There's probably someone in that audience that would buy a chameleon. But if I go to the reptile expo, there's not going to be as many people. Probably a lot more people that want to buy chameleons, though, right?
Yeah.
So and with the internet, there is a lot of an element of either you have to buy people to come into your store, that's ads, or you got to put on an expo yourself, which is a lot of time and resources to draw that attention in. Do you think there's any places that are already maybe on the internet or in real life where the type of person who buys what you buy or what you make already just meets up and hangs out?
Yeah, so I need to find more opportunities like this, but in July of 2025, I plan on going to this festival I believe it's in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's just a bunch of conscious, spiritual, like-minded people gathering together, and I was invited to vend some of my products there. So
there you go. That's wonderful. Do you think that might be effective for you?
Yeah, it'll be more than effective.
Now, diving into that, going a little deeper, what do you think is the easiest product to sell? Not the one that makes us the most right now, but the easiest one to sell.
Yeah, so I make like little tiny pieces of organite that are still really effective, but they're really cheap. Mm-hmm. And I gifted one to one of my friends last night. He's like, dude, we need to get you a website because people need this stuff, and not everybody can afford hundreds of dollars worth of products, but having like a $10, $20 product, people will eat that up.
That's right. Wonderful. So that's in terms of that, what do you think the next steps are to know that the advice and transformations that we're having here today are working for you? Because I am a hypnotist, so maybe this is all in your head. Maybe I am just tricking you to make you feel good about the future using mind trickery, right? It could be. It might be that is what I'm up to. So how do we know that what we did here today has helped your unconscious mind begin to process things in a new way so that you know that you're going to take steps that start changing your future? What would be the first step that you would do that's new to know that this is working?
I would say one step I could take towards that is, I know some people on Instagram that have been asking me to go live with them, do Q&As and whatnot. Yeah. And I feel like that's a great first step.
Wonderful. So maybe, taking out your phone, sending them a DM, saying that you're ready and going from there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So if we do that, we know that what we did here worked. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And if not, well, then maybe it's not working. Oh no, that's not good, right? But that's not going to happen, is it?
No.
Because even if they say no, even if it doesn't work out, that's not really the work, is it? The work is that you did it. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? Anything you'd like to talk about? Or are we, was this helpful for you?
Yeah, this has been great. I'm really grateful for this. And yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining. It was great chatting with you, Hunter. And I look forward to seeing your future success. And I think you might be pleasantly surprised at what your unconscious mind's going to be up to during this process, because you've done a lot of work here today, whether you know it or not. And so I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Appreciate you.
It's great chatting with you. Bye. As we close up today's live hypnosis session with Hunter, I trust that you've noticed now that you can go beyond and above your thinking, and just a single moment with the right question at the right time can change everything. But the real magic happens not during the question being asked, but what your powerful unconscious mind begins to do because of it. Over the next few days, I wonder if you might yourself begin to see the world in a slightly different way that provides you with insights for your business, for your life. And as those synchronicities occur, I'd love to hear about them. DM me on Instagram, let me know, or drop them in the comment section below. Until then, I'll leave you with this quote. The unexamined life is not worth living, and there's no more fruitful area for exploration than your unconscious mind. So enjoy beginning the examination process of that today.